House passed the budget last year in April. The Senate didn't even vote on. When they didn't even bring one to the floor for a debate. And so we'll take that information, hopefully give it to some of the appropriators. But I'm so distressed by a process in which you can't do a fundamental job of actually passing a budget. And 1,000 days is a real dereliction of duty. But they've just made the political decision in my mind that we're not going to cut anything because there's always somebody that doesn't like a cut. And we'll appreciate the information. I've not seen that report. Yes, sir.
Why is it that the federal government can get away with that, but we as a city have to, by law, have a budget established in August or September of every year?
Yeah. Well, it's because I think the American people let them get away with it. And there's an election coming. You know, as Franklin said, this is a very bad system of government. The thing is, all the rest are worse. And because we're the ones responsible for that. No, you couldn't run a business that way. You couldn't run you can't run your city that way. You couldn't go into your banker and say, hey, loan me some money. I have no plans for how I'm going to match expenses and income. That's what's been happening in Washington for nearly 1,000.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise in support of the resolution offered by my colleague, the gentleman from Florida. The jaws of the people I represent drop when I inform them that 1,000 days have passed since the Senate actually passed a budget. 1,000 days since Democrat Harry Reid allowed a budget to actually be debated. They can't believe that such a failure of duty has occurred, let alone that it can occur. 2 weeks ago, I hosted a town hall in Clay Center, Kansas, and a constituent asked, how is it possible for the Senate to not pass a budget? As the constituent correctly pointed out, you can't run a city, state, or a business this way. Washington seems to be the only place in the world where reality doesn't apply. Perhaps it's fitting the president traveled to the most magical place on earth, Disney World. Last week, he is complicit with allowing the Senate Democrats to live out a fairy tale in which fiscal policy is carried out on a whim. Not only do cities, states, and businesses not function without budgets, but American families cannot get ahead without them. Families who face mountains of debt, like Washington does, never erase the red ink without a plan to pay it down or a plan to stop adding to it. Families who want to save and invest for the future cannot do so without a budget. Families who want to leave a legacy for their children and grandchildren come up with a blueprint to do so. In the same regard, we should be focused on the legacy Washington is leaving for our children and grandchildren, Mr. President. And Mr. Reid, we cannot wait. I yield back my time.
Gentleman yields back his time.